Wow.
What's
Very
up?
well done, dude. That was freaking sweet. Awesome work,
I'll
dude.
I'll
Seriously.
I'll say that I didn't quite I couldn't quite get the ending part right, the way it zooms in and then um,
Yeah.
transitions into
Yeah.
the next thing. So that's something I need to build up on. But once again, welcome everybody to another Nerdporial chat, joined by Salty and Prophet of the Dragon. We're going to be talking about Stranger Things. The first, we're going to talk about the story thus far, or however far we can get. So
Yeah.
welcome. So yeah, I'll be honest. I when I first heard about this show, I actually heard about this believe it or not, reading an IGN article because back in 2016, I still went to IGN for you know shows and video game news, and I saw them talk about this show, Stranger Things. I'm looking at this, I'm like, wait a minute, it looks like an 80s period piece. I might like this because I like period pieces in general.
Hmm.
And then I watched and I was like, holy crap, this is like a mesh of like all the things I love from the 80s, like the John Carpenter, Steven Spielberg,
Oh yeah.
freaking I can't think of Stephen King. Those are like the
Hmm.
three big names I think of when I think of Stranger Things. So I'm just curious how you guys got into it.
Go ahead, man.
Oh,
Or
well, for me, I saw that they were going with an 80s vibe, and I came to it late. Everybody was telling me how great it was, and I was burned out. This is long before I started YouTube. I'm like, oh, you got to go see what everybody loves, because usually I'm like, well, this sucks. But in this case, I binged watched that thing like until 5 o'clock in the morning and still managed to go to work the next day. It exceeded my expectations in a million ways. And we were talking about it before the show started, but really what it was is it was the first time since I was there as a kid, you know, um, in the 80s. And it felt like it was somebody actually captured what it was like to be a kid in the 80s. So that was a huge draw for me. And then of course there's nerds playing Dungeons and Dragons and amateur radio and all the other stuff, and it was just like somebody was telling my story, you know?
yeah, sort of similar for me. I mean, I came to it a little bit late. Not that late, but it was one of those sort of a late night thing. Sort of the same thing for me. It was I had heard about it. I didn't even really know what the heck it was, to be honest. When I first heard about it, I was just sort of cruising around, couldn't find anything to watch, and it was like, oh hey, this Stranger Things. I'm not. I wasn't sure because I'm not a big. I am a giant wimp when it comes to horror movies. So it was touted as this scary. So I'm like, I'm not a big. I don't like being scared, right? So, but I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. And right from the get go, I was in. I mean, just I'm a child of the smaller child of the '80s, but a lot of this
You're
stuff,
there, dude.
just
You're there.
just brings a lot of brings a lot of memories forth. I mean, we were talking about just arcades and all, and just all that stuff that is sort of just lost to history at this point, which is a shame because uh, some of the best times of my life were hung out in some of those places. So
Well,
It,
um,
it's true.
now we got bars. Now we got in Chicago here. We got a couple of bars. Get beers, get drinks, and play old
I
arcade
guess it's
games.
coming back around a little bit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I don't know. Not where
Yeah.
I'm at, but
I was talking in the green room about there's a real true vintage arcade, not like a wannabe arcade that has like new versions of the old games, like, but they actually have the old cabinets, the old games, including the very analog pinball and some of the analog games from the 60s and 70s that were out there, like Shark Hunter and other things that involved using film reflected on a mirror that shot up on a screen. This was even before 8-bit graphics, certainly before 16, and that's in Langley, Washington. Those of you who are in the Pacific Northwest, visit the arcade in Langley, Washington. It is absolutely amazing. If you're an 80s kid, you will love it.
Ooh, can't wait! I can't wait to find it. I can't wait to see. I have never played an analog arcade game like that. So that'd be an interesting thing to find. So
I can pull one up for you if you want, real quick.
absolutely.
I don't mean to derail your show. It just
Yeah.
this stuff is so great. And do you remember when they had Shakey's Pizza? Are you old enough to remember Shakey's Pizza, dude? Like,
I was born
never
in
mind.
84. I was born in 84. So
All right, yeah. So I mean, this is what it was. These were the games we had, and you looked in there, and it was essentially a mirrored television screen that was showing a shark, and you tracked it, and there was a sensor that could see the light. It was very, very retro, very analog, but that's what used to pass for video games, were stuff like
wow.
that. Yeah, yeah,
Well, okay. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
I don't, and we of course we don't see arcade. We don't see them go to the arcades until season 2. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, once again, I saw it through IGN. So I figured I'm looking for a new show. I love it looked very ET-esque. So I was like, okay, this might be something good. I watched it. It had a combination of the coming of age 80s, your Stand By Me's, your Goonies. What's funny is I don't think about the Goonies too much, but the Goonies and E.T. have all three of those combined. And then you have the horror element, which is kind of like, you have your Alien, and of course Evil Dead and The Thing. Of course, you see the posters of the Evil Dead and I think Jonathan's room, and I think you see the Thing poster in the basement where they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. So and if you see you see the posters scattered, and it was kind of like if you ever seen Poltergeist, the son had like an Alien poster in his room. Like, I don't think he's old enough to see Alien, but that's beside the point. But yeah, there's elements of Poltergeist, there's elements of Close Encounters, there's elements of I can't think of what else with the lights. Well, besides Close Encounters and
Close Encounters, Poltergeist, The Thing. There was, and also, in my opinion, there were also some homages to some of the 80s B science fiction movies, like Night of the Comet, My Science Project, which is a really overlooked 80s B science fiction movie. And that was present there too. So, but yeah, it had Stephen King, and then of course the fashion that was absolutely spot on. The furniture was absolutely looked like I was at my neighbor's house with the way the mom dressed and all those things, and the furniture was.
Well, and then they do a good job each season changing the way each from season to season. The haircuts change, everything changes. You can tell that the years are going ahead, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. So we started in like 1983, I believe, fall of 1983, which was actually exactly a year before I was born. I was born in 84, so I'm the youngest on this panel. So
we got me.
Yeah. So I was actually born around the time that season 2 takes place. So
right on, dude. That explains a lot. That explains a lot.
Season 2 takes place in 84. They're dressed as Ghostbusters because Ghostbusters.
That was so cool.
Yeah, that came out. When did that come out? That came out in May or June. It came out in the summer, I think.
I remember.
It was a summer film, I think.
I remember that was a packed movie theater. I mean, absolutely packed. And I lived in a small town, and you literally were shoulder to shoulder with people, and everybody loved that movie. The moment I got out, I convinced my mom and dad to drive us to Kmart so I could get the Ghostbusters on 45, the vinyl single of Ray Parker singing that. But yeah, I want to say it was May.
Okay. So I'm just curious, out of the 3 seasons, which one do you guys think is the best? I honestly think it's the first season. I think the first season is still the best season.
For me, I think the first. I mean, I don't. The third season gets a lot of hate, and it definitely wasn't my favorite on first watch. After watching it a second time, I think it's better the second time once you sort of let go of some of the things that they explain some of the outlandish things that happened in season 3 the best they can. I mean, so it's not like there's no setup involved, but for me, definitely season 1 is definitely the best.
Yeah, season 1 had the most weight. I mean, obviously the what really begins the season is Will Byers getting kidnapped by not kidnapped, but he disappears, and he's basically hiding. He manages to hide from the Demogorgon throughout the entire season. It's not until like the end of I think episode 7, the penultimate episode, where he actually gets caught, and then he becomes like they obviously based what happens to him off of the Alien Cocoon and Alien and Aliens, where he has the thing in his mouth and they have to take it out.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, just the story that about how everybody was affected because of his disappearance, and of course what follows with the character Barb, who is not as good as hiding as Will is, because Will has dealt with bullies his entire life.
Yeah,
so he knows where to hide, and he knows how to hide and where to hide.
Well, I think Barb, I mean, the Demogorgon comes and gets her, because it was my interpretation. I don't think she even had a chance. I mean, came and got her because
she was at the bottom of a pool, and she tried to climb out, and she was just too slow, and the
I guess that's
pulled
true.
her back in and ate her.
I guess that's true. But she never really had a chance.
I don't know what.
The thing about season 1 was how how mature the teenagers were. That was so spot on. Like, we were so expected to be in charge of things and be in charge of ourselves, and we had a lot more freedom. Now, the world was a very different place, but when you have when you have Mike's sister get it on with that, the jock guy and all the other stuff, and then you have the outcast guy, that's oh God, what's his name?
Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan, on the outside taking pictures. I mean, the archetypes that they hit are very much we could say from John Hughes, if we're honest about it. The Breakfast Club, all that stuff. At the same point, having been there, being that age group at that time, those archetypes existed for a reason. That they were fair, they were accurate. That's how it was. And I think the world's a poorer place because of it. Nobody said life is fair, but you should figure out who the hell you are when you are bullied, or when you are in a place of, you're a nerd. But I really think season 1 did this really great job of unapologetically showing how life was, and how kids were, and how, sexuality wasn't this, I don't know. It wasn't this weird thing, the way that they conveyed the hookup and all that. I mean, it literally was like a time capsule going back to what it was like in those days,
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and just also the freedom that the smaller kids had. I remember riding my bike all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean,
we were told not to come home. You don't come home until it's dark. Here's $1. Here's $1. It's 9:00 in the morning. You figure out where you're going to eat, and it's like, if you came home, you had to do something. You had to do the laundry, you had to rake the leaves, you had to paint the damn house. So you didn't come home. You just were gone.
Yep. No,
True
the
story.
lights. Yeah, sun goes down. You need to be home, and even if you're home, you can still be out doing whatever the hell you want, as long as you're around. So so that was also very time capsule, right? I remember being out till all hours, and as soon as the sun goes down, you got to be home. But so it's very, very, very. It's like a time capsule. It brings you back. At least it does for me, anyways.
Oh yeah. I'm younger. I didn't quite have that problem. My babysitter was my Nintendo. So I spent a lot of time playing my Nintendo.
Right on.
So,
I did too, but
Yeah, but I did have to go out too. I was sent to day camp, especially during the summer. So I was out anyway. So when I was a kid. So, but yeah, this first season, like we get to see once again, we see everybody affected. We see Will's mom, Winona Ryder. I think her name's Joyce. She just starts like everybody sees her like she's just like a mom that
losing it.
Everybody thinks she's losing it, which is so funny because all of a sudden, like, she's getting these phone calls. Then the lights start, the electricity starts acting up when like Will is really close, or whenever the Demogorgon is the monster of the season 1 is close, and like there's literally a point where it looked like something out of Poltergeist, where like it's trying to crawl out of the wall, even though it's physically not there. It's like on the other side of the dimension, the upside down.
Well, I mean, if you walk in that house, I mean, what would you think? I mean, there's letters all over the walls. There's Christmas lights, hanging everywhere. And what it's
I'd be like, is it July? I'd be like, is it July?
it wasn't just I don't remember. It was pre-Christmas, obviously, but it was just one of those things. It's just like, yeah, and there's no wonder everybody thought she was losing it, which is
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
one of the lines from Hopper, makes brings it home a little more. When
Yeah.
he says basically, "You've been right the whole time," so it's like, yeah.
Okay, I got a question for Corey. Is this
Oh,
true?
yeah.
Isash Melody
Yes.
says Joyce
It's
is
so
such an
funny.
80s name.
It's so funny because my girlfriend in high school, her name was Julie. And then her other sister was Janet. And her other sister was Joyce. So that's how we used to roll in the 80s was,
The J.
they stuck with one character. Like my first name is Corey and all of my other siblings, their names start with C2. So,
Well, it's funny.
yeah.
My name is spelled, Stephen, PH. Brother's name is Joseph, PH.
Wow.
So yeah, so there you go.
That's crazy, dude. But Joyce was a big name. There was a lot of Julies, a lot of Jennifers, a lot of Mikes, a lot of Brians, a lot of Jasons. I went to school with a ton of all those same kids with the same names.
I'm a Brian too.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there were a lot of
man.
Jennifer. I was a kid in the 90s.
A lot
There
of
was a lot of
Jennifers.
Jennifers then
A lot of
too.
Jennifers,
So
yeah.
yeah,
A ton
I
of
used to think-
Jennifers, right?
when I was a kid, I thought Jennifer was the hottest name. No, I'm not kidding.
Well,
Samantha.
So,
Samantha.
Jennifer it has to be the hottest name because like 18,000 girls in every high school is named Jennifer. So one of them, a handful
True,
of
the
them got to be the hottest.
law of
right?
averages. Law of averages. Yeah. Yeah.
So and this is interesting. When Josh's are the worst though. This is input latency.
Let's see here,
No
Josh.
comment.
Yeah, you know what? I think I could probably agree. I put my stamp of approval on that comment. Yes, I knew it.
I used to get in trouble with Josh. Josh is the guy that you go drinking with and then you regret it later because the cops got you. But yeah, I agree.
Is that what it was? That's funny.
Underage. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's all good. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? Like no
It's
big
all
deal.
good. It's all good, man.
No.
It's all good, man. So
Wrong show, man. It's all
sorry,
good, man.
wrong show. Sorry, I didn't think about that. So I loved how like the like in season 1 everything kind of came together at the end, like the kids, the kids, the teenagers, and the adults. So it was basically three groups of people, people that were following. Obviously, Joyce and Hopper represent the adults. Teenagers, obviously Nancy and Jonathan and what's his name?
The jock?
Steve Harrington. Steve Harrington.
How do you forget Steve Harrington?
And,
Come on.
Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, Steve Harrington, the hair, the 50s,
The hair, the club.
Hair,
I mean, come on.
and, yeah,
I knew a kid like him in theater looked just like that dude, man. Just like that guy. It's crazy how they nailed it. Seriously.
And you know what? I find myself liking Steve more and more just because he goes through the most changes season to season.
Yeah.
So at least I think so. I relate because I was the pretty jock. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, listen to this. Listen to this guy.
I was a jock, not the pretty jock, but you know.
I know. I was one of those hybrids. I did the jock thing. I also did theater and debate, and I also played Dungeons and Dragons, and also underage drank a lot. So I don't know what that makes me. Normal.
I'll be honest, I never played.
Normal, probably.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
No, I've never played.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I never had a group that was like I played like Hero Quest with my family. That's the closest I got. I never had a group. My friends were big into sports, so that's sports and video games. So that's what I did. Never had the opportunity to do any Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Unfortunately, would have been cool, but.
I remember like when I was a kid, like Dungeons and Dragons was like a board game or something.
Oh God, that's not Dungeons and Dragons.
I know, but that's how I first heard of it. It was on a commercial.
Isn't that bad movie, Dungeons and Dragons? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
there were a couple like that.
There's like a board game. I had no idea it was like this big thing. I mean, my gateway into fantasy was Legend of Zelda and Willow. Believe it or not,
wow,
those were the two.
And here you are. Wow, that's We used to make fun of people for playing Magic the Gathering, those of us who played D&D, because we thought people were lazy who did that. And,
Yeah, that's me, lazy.
Magic the Gathering. I remember people playing. I never got into
it was such a I didn't
card
either.
games.
I was like, what the hell are you doing? Why don't you have dice, and why don't you make your own dungeons, and why don't you play modules? I didn't get it, and I still don't get it. I'm going to be honest with you.
Because we're lazy.
So they make their own dungeons in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, I didn't play. I was a dungeon master. I did, and I loved doing it. I had the graph paper, and I would make my own dungeons, and I would set up my own monsters and create my own stories, and yet I still got late in the 80s. So it was fun. It was really fun, guys. I mean, it was good. I mean, we needed to have that type of creative outlet, and that's what Dungeons and Dragons was. For a lot of us, it wasn't just escape; it was also an act of rebellion. And as much as we talk about weirdness now, in the 80s, it was kind of the conformity or the jock culture, the push from corporations of just. I don't know. It maybe it was Gen X. Like, we really saw through a lot of bullshit, and we still did, which is why in the 90s they skipped over marketing to Gen X and went straight to the millennials, you guys, because they couldn't sell to us because we saw through everything. And you could say we're jaded, but it's also true. And so I don't know, maybe it's part of a generational thing because the baby boomers were so preoccupied with themselves, they never really had time for us. So we had to grow up and entertain ourselves. And Dungeons and Dragons was a great way to do it, dude.
And I love how the show kind of showed that with the boomers, like not being aware.
It was all true, dude.
Well,
They didn't know what the hell was going on.
The dad is so oblivious.
Yeah, like, if you guys have to promise. Every time you swear, I'm going to say language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He just sits in his chair.
He's like, honey, they're the government. They're on our
exactly.
That's where my dad sleeps, on the lazy boy. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
that very Archie Bunker looking lazy chair. Well, it's not quite lazy boy, but
that stuff cost a lot of money. Anything that had real wood on it and had that crazy plaid polyester stripe thing, either the orange or the green, man, you were hip in the day, back in the day. It's true story.
Orange and green. Oh my god.
So Daryl says,
you're right, but
so Daryl says, sadly, I never met a chick that was in the D&D until recently. It's my stepdaughter.
We'd have girls come and hang out, like girlfriends would hang out, and then like want to shake the dice or want to understand what we're doing, and then they'd go off and do something else, and that was fine. We did have one girl that would play with us sometimes, but they always ended up talking about other things, which was fine. Nobody excluded anybody though. There was no proto Gamergate. You're not welcome in the comic book bullshit narratives that we're hearing.
That
that
whole
never
myth
happened.
of we don't want people. It's like, no, that's not how it was.
So toxic fans wasn't a thing back then.
No. And the other thing too is orcs were orcs. You know why? Because they were mythical creatures in a fantasy role-playing game. Nobody looked at orcs and thought, wow, you know what? This is probably an allegory for the struggle of disenfranchised minorities in capitalist culture. Because they were orcs. They're just orcs.
Gorthak, the disenfranchised, sensitive orc who doesn't like man flesh.
Yeah.
I figured orcs were basically broken men that just completely went off the deep end.
Twisted with evil.
So my question for now, let's talk about this. Like, sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons streams, but did they mainly draw off of Lord of the Rings? What else did they draw off of for?
It was Gary Gygax, and he based it out of a tiny little town in southern Wisconsin, not too far from the Illinois border in Lake Geneva, and that was TSR Enterprises. Where it's gone from there, I know it's gone to the Wokarati hellhole of something. I thought it was in Portland or Seattle, one of those places I used to live by, which don't have anything to do with those places anymore. But the thing about Dungeons and Dragons is it wasn't just D&D, and you didn't just play one thing. There were a series of modules or chapters of a story you could buy, and each one of them had these cool outer coverings. They came with their own maps. In some cases, they came with their own new characters or abilities you could use, new monsters you fought. And it was just a way to get a prepackaged adventure to play instead of having to entirely make your own. So but D&D, did it draw from Tolkien? Obviously everything fantasy draws from Tolkien, but in no way did I see anything where it was literally a straight ripoff. It really wasn't, because you could play hybrid of classes of, like, a thief fighter or fighter wizard, or you could do all these things. And then you had different races with, shocker, because they're biologically different. An elf isn't as strong as, say, a barbarian man. That's a real thing. And it just, I don't know, it was so wide open with all the different things that you could do. You could draw from Tolkien, but when we played D&D, nobody ever played like it was Middle Earth. We just wanted to play all these different fantasy experiences. That's all we wanted to do,
Okay, so going into dungeons, going into castles full of booby
Oh,
traps,
yeah.
full of monsters.
Oh, dude, always,
Sounds
yeah.
very, very, very. I mean, I guess a very Zelda sounds like a very Zelda type of
Yeah.
gameplay
In
experience.
much like, current console play, some of it was detective stories, some of it you had to do quests for other people. I mean, there's a reason why console games like Fallout and oh god, what's the Bethesda, the big
Elder
damn.
Scrolls.
Yes, yeah, that the Elder Scrolls, those drew exactly from the same essential pathway of advancing through a fantasy story of Dungeons and Dragons, and it's just the same thing, only they did it in video games,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I would think most,
call.
fantasy-based MMOs are derivative of that a little bit. I mean, all the fantasy characters involved in all that stuff. So
yeah. Daryl the Derelict says, back in the 80s we drank and played D&D. We did that too. We would start out drinking multiple 2 liters of Mountain Dew and heating up frozen pizzas while blasting Journey. And then once it
Which
got a little
song?
later, well, it was basically anything from the late 80s with Journey, but we had such good music back in the 80s. We used to leave the radio on.
yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah.
We used to leave the radio on and used to hear all the local DJs back when you had local DJs. Like, yeah, I'm old. Never mind. I'm just like old man talking about how great it was in the 80s.
Remember the radio?
That.
Yeah. Remember the radio? Yeah. You turn on the radio now, it's just like, bleh.
What we
This
used
is
to do
classic rock. Yeah. Sorry.
if there was a hot new song that was coming out, and you'd wait for the commercials, and you'd have a cassette tape all lined up to hit the record button on your boombox, because not everybody had money to go out and buy a brand new song all the time. So if that song started, you raced across the room, you hit the record button on your boombox, and then you waited for the song to end, and then the DJ start talking. But that's how you got some of your songs. And some of the best mixtapes that I still have floating around have those radio edits from the late 80s of song captures.
I think my dad's old boombox is still kicking around here somewhere. I love
They're
that
great.
thing. I remember it. Yeah.
They're
The
great.
best.
Ghetto Blaster.
Ghetto
Man.
Blaster.
Ghetto Blaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Mixtapes.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Well, Jonathan, Jonathan.
Yeah, he made.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
making
and of course,
mixtapes.
yeah. I mean, we hear so much. What's one thing I'm impressed with the show is the music. I mean, obviously, the song that really stands out in season 1, the one that Will keeps singing, is the Clash, I believe, isn't it? Will I stay or should I go?
Shall I stay or shall I go? You guys got me want me to buy this thing. I want to buy that soundtrack on vinyl. I should.
It's gotta be. I haven't seen. It's gotta be good. I mean, season 2 basically opens with an Oingo Boingo as they go right into the arcades. Like, yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Oingo Boingo. That's Danny Elfman, I believe.
Yep, that was his band. They were also on the Weird Science soundtrack. That was one of the big just one of the big leaps forward of Elfman before he started trying to be a half-assed version of what's his name? John what's his name? Damn it, the Star Wars composer.
John Williams.
Yes, John Williams. The thing about Danny Williams, and I don't mean to dump on him, but you can tell it's Danny Williams.
Oh, okay. So Danny Williams is his son or something.
Yeah. Or sorry, Danny Elfman. Sorry about that.
Elfman.
Danny Elfman. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, it must be Danny Elfman again. Yay! Dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun dun. Oh, good, it's Danny Elfman again.
Dun 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 dun. That I didn't realize that was Danny Elfman for a long time. I didn't realize he did the Simpsons. Did the Simpsons theme. He did the Batman. He did the I think the first '89. I think
he did. That was a big Prince album, though. Someone should do a show on all the. I don't know how you do it, but that album, what Prince did with a concept album from '89 Batman, absolutely crazy. Never been duplicated. It's a moment in time. Has it aged well is up for debate, but they took a lot of chances with that a Batman '89 movie, and I think a lot of them paid off.
Yeah. So let's talk about the characters. So we have the kids. We have Mike. We have Dustin. What was it? Lucas is the third kid. And of course, Will is the one that gets kidnapped. So I'm curious. Like, I think my favorite of them is Dustin. I like Dustin the most.
Oh,
he seems to be the most well-rounded. He's the one that I think is the most easily relatable. He's the most likable. And especially at the end of season 2, where he tries to go, they're at the winter dance, and they're trying to go up to that girl, and the girl says no, and he sits down in the bleachers, and he's trying to fight off tears. I felt for him. I could relate to a moment like that, and I just loved seeing how his relationship with Nancy, because in the beginning of the show, he's like, "Hey, Nancy," and she's just like, she shuts the door in his face. Up to that point where she's willing to dance with him and help him, be confident and help him with his, confidence with people. And I just thought that was, I love his character. And it's like anything that his story arcs are usually the best ones, in my opinion. Like in season 3, he's always apart from the group after season 1.
Well, I mean, season 2, part of the hijinks that happen is just because he's feeling sort of secluded from all his buddies, because their buddies are all into something else. So he does something. He's lonely. He feels like he's by himself. So he does something stupid and ridiculous. And I'm sure he, in hindsight, he knows it. But when you're secluded from your lifelong friends, you do weird things. But it's very relatable.
He ends up teaming up with Steve Harrington. So
right.
It's so crazy.
The dream team, man.
Crazy. I know.
Their handshake in season 3. It's like, hell yeah.
But that's another thing about this show that it gets right, was how socially fluid you could be. And how if somebody needed something and somebody stuck up for you, or though that happened, you moved across planes of socioeconomic layers, for lack of a better word. Just because you were an athlete didn't mean that you wouldn't hang out if no one else was around with the other people, with the nerds or somebody else. Or we used to, the rougher crowd, we used to call them the dirts, the guys who worked on cars, and you did some shady things, maybe sold some chemical things, recreational stuff like that. You never knew when you might need somebody's help with something. And that's what I liked about this show, is they showed, that really did happen, at least where I was,
Yeah, it just sounds like, just why don't treat people like crap. You never know who you can be friends with. You don't know how you can relate to people. I mean, look at look at the Breakfast Club. These were all different people from that did different things, but they all managed. They had something in common. They're all human, and they found something. They managed to find something in common from being together.
Well, Steve sort of makes that turn from season 1 too, because he's a real piece of work at the beginning, and ends up by the end, instead of running away, sort of making sure to help out, and then realizing that he dick move and replacing the camera for Jonathan through Nancy, of course, but still. So
characters with
and he helps them too at the end. Like, they're trying to lure the Demogorgon into the house with
he saved them.
Traps. He comes back. He was going to run away, and he's like, he looks in, he sees what they're going through. He goes in, he takes the bat with the nails in it. And he just starts being it. He does the awesome twirl. He twirls the bat, and then
that's now his his signature weapon. You know,
It is, yeah, it is.
yeah, that's the best part. Anytime
Yeah.
something goes down, that bat's in his trunk. He goes right for it. It's like Steve's about to get into it.
That was the cool thing, though. I mean, I think part of the thing that's underappreciated about Stranger Things, despite all its imperfections, is the growth of these characters. These characters grow and change,
Yes.
and the women in these shows are badass. They are badass. They really are. Whether it be Will's mom, with Winona Ryder, whether it be Mike's sister, who you don't start out not liking, and then you really like her because she's right there in the middle of it, helping out. And then you see that these characters, they progress and they grow. And there's a continuity to that through across all these seasons.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to ask you guys is, I really can I swear on your show? Because I
You
have
can
to
say
ask
it, but
this.
I'm gonna say language.
Okay. I shit on season 2 a lot.
Language.
Sorry, Dad. So yeah,
Season two.
season
Okay.
2. And I went back and I just looked at some of it, and I was like, I think I might have been a little unfair because the expectations we had from season 1 were so high.
I'm just curious, what part of it do you think was off-putting the most to you?
It was when 11 took off and went to the big
Chicago.
city,
Well,
and hooked up with what's her name, and then they're gonna rob a bank, and it's like, and then it made no sense at all. It seemed like they had to check boxes.
Yeah.
And then now here we are going on season 4, and it's like we haven't seen that character once.
So in my rewatch, I just skipped that. I went right to the end of that episode where
Okay.
11 decides to part ways with them.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, that works, because that episode was terrible. I skipped the intro, so I didn't see. Is it 7? Is that what that?
It's episode 7.
I didn't see any of that character or her band of misfits or whatever the hell you want to call them. I skipped the intro, didn't watch any of that. Episode 7. Just went to the end where she goes, screw off, this isn't for me, I'm going home to my family. And then it's like, okay, I don't, but I get that, because I don't know anybody that that liked that part. They're like, what is this?
Nobody. It was just you episode 6 ends with the lab getting attacked, like all the demodogs are crawling in,
and it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's like I realized, like, I was being okay, at the time it made sense because season 1 was so good. We just wanted it to be just as good again, and you can't do that. You've got to have a different story. I think if they would have cut that out a little bit, that scene, I think it would have been a very different story. I mean, you had Sean Astin as the manager of a Radio Shack, guys.
He saves the day too. Samwise Gamgee goes out,
sacrifices himself, dude.
Yeah. I was like, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? And then the dog just. Oh, I was like,
God.
no,
that killed me. It killed me. I watched that again today.
It's so bad. Yeah, it hurt so bad. He made it all the way, and he's like, yes. It's just like, no, what? No, why did you stop?
And it's funny. Bob gave Will advice because Will was afraid of what was happening to him, because he's in season 2. He's seeing visions of the Upside Down. Well, Bob tells him, Bob's trying, because Bob's dating Joyce, and he's telling her he's trying to bond. He's trying to kind of bond with Will.
Yeah.
And he tells Will, you have to confront your fear. And it's good. What's funny is it's good advice, but not for Will's situation, because Will's situation is out of the ordinary. He goes and confronts the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer, Mind Flayer just...
takes him out.
Like, in of course, 1 second. Bob has no idea, right? I mean, he has no idea. So you're right. It's funny because it is good advice.
It is.
But he's not dealing. He wasn't dealing with a paranoid clown that wanted to take over his soul and use him as a meat puppet. But I got a quick question though. Do you think? Did you guys both watch the season 4 8-minute clip thing?
Oh, I did.
I just watched it before the show. Holy cow!
I just had a curious thought. Do you think they? Well, I guess spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen it. Do you think they killed off all the other numbers because of all the flack they got about that episode in season 2?
I don't know. That's actually.
I didn't get that.
No,
No, I don't think so.
I'm
I'm
just
curious. I was
curious.
going to ask if you think if I was asking. I was wondering if there's other numbers out there.
That's what I'm thinking. Well, there has to be. There has to be because again, there was a you know, we've only really seen the American side that was happening during in the height of the Cold War in '79. Like when you know, spoilers when that happens at the Hawkins Research Institute, '79 was bad. We were really weak in the world, and Brezhnev, I think, had just died. It was a really dark time between the Soviet Union and the United States, and of course the Western Europe.
Carter administration, I think, was still running.
Yeah,
the
that sucked.
country.
Yeah, that sucked. And we also
Yeah.
had the hostage situation with Iran, who,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, still not our friends. But yeah, I mean, but I think there's something else going there, and I really hope, like the first couple seasons, they reward you if you are culturally aware of what life was like. Like, I really wonder what made him pick 1979, as opposed to not telling us a date at all. We
Yeah.
knew 11 was locked in a room. You guys, after this show, go watch the season 4. It's a trailer. It's out there. I mean, anybody can see it. We're not going to wreck it for you. But I thought that trailer was more to set up who the big bad was going to be in season 4 with that boy. That's what I thought.
I thought that was 11.
I didn't think it was 11. I thought it was a boy.
What did I miss now? Sorry, my
At the
daughter
end,
Uh-huh.
at the end of that 8-minute thing, I looked at it, and I was like, "That's not 11." And I thought it was a boy. I really did.
It looked like
It's
a
not.
CGI.
I thought it was. I thought it was 11.
It looked like a CGI'd 11. I thought that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, I
No.
thought. I that's why I thought it looked to me like they had killed all the other numbers. Or she did. I mean, I thought that whole she just freaked out and went to town.
Okay.
So
I think they're
might
saying
be
it's
wrong.
13. I think they're saying it's 13.
Hmm.
So hold on, you guys. Let me get. I'm gonna jump it to.
Yeah. No. Because I'm not sure.
Oh, it
to be
is.
honest.
Well, see. Okay, maybe it is 11. All right, I'm going to share this with you guys. I didn't think it was 11 though. I really didn't think. I thought it was a boy, but I could be wrong. I'm no
Twin.
biologist.
Maybe it's a twin.
Yeah. So
Who knows, right?
I didn't think that was 11, and the ears are differently shaped. That's
You
what
know
threw me.
what? I mean, I wonder because I wonder if we're just all made the assumption that it's 11. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was. I mean, I saw the shape of the ears, and I was like, "That's a boy."
Because you know what? I think you might be onto something here because I think maybe
wow.
intentionally they picked an actor that looks
Yep.
looks like Millie Bobby Brown with her hair up.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
looking at this more closely, the chin's wrong.
Thank you. That's what I mean. Like, I thought I was losing my mind, and I'm like, "That's not 11."
And the
You
eyes,
know?
eyes look different. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, maybe we're wrong, and it's just like a bad deep fake.
Do we ever see like what the number? I guess we don't see the number.
But this would make a lot of
somebody said it's 13.
It would make
Somebody out there said it was 13.
It would make a lot of sense that because you don't see her. She's just coming into her powers. With when we meet 11. So
if it's night, and that's where I was going with the 1979. So in 1979, she would have. So when does the first season start? I think it's 81. It's 80. Okay, 83. So at 83, she's not 13. What is she, like around 12?
She'd be 8 or 9 in 1979.
Yeah,
I think she was 12 in 1983.
that's where I'm going with the math. So I honestly didn't.
How do we know is 13 just an arbitrary number? That's what they've, or how do we know it's 13? Did somebody pick something up? That's what I'm just curious about.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't watch the video on it. I just saw it when I was flipping through. But I'm gonna go to I'm gonna pull up some images of her in season 1 and let's see what we got, because maybe they could do a deep fake screen grab.
But I think
Interesting.
you're
Interesting. Okay, the ears are the same. Yeah, you guys, I'm gonna give you another. We can't do side by side, can we? Let's flip to this next one just because it still doesn't look like her. It still doesn't look like her. Oh my god. All right, let's try this one. I'm really glad we're talking about this because I
Yeah,
think
'cause
this is the real challenge. All right,
Yeah.
so that's what she looked like in season 1.
Yes.
like so I don't. It's
Okay,
yeah, it's different. It's very, very much her. I mean, so it's like, are we over analyzing, and it's just them
that's
trying
our
to make us?
jobs.
Yeah,
We're on YouTube. We're
Yeah.
here to overanalyze.
We're
because right
nerds.
now, because looking at that from the previous picture you had in front of it, it's different kids.
And yeah, let's look at it again. Like I just didn't look like her. I mean, it looked like maybe her brother, which is, the more I started thinking about it, but again, I could just be making stuff up.
That would be
See,
interesting.
this ain't her. This ain't her. Look at, you could see it, man. Look at it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's definitely not her.
Okay, so the shape of the nose, the eye sockets, the ears are the same, though. The hairline is different. Now, could it be a bad CG thing? Maybe.
Well, but the thing is she's never bled like this.
That's the other part. She only bled from the nose,
She
and
ble-
when she
she
did things, she didn't
yeah.
bleed from the eyes,
She
and
bled
that's
from
why I thought this was somebody else.
the only time she bled from both nostrils when she was closing the breach, and that was
In the
it.
second season, at the
Yep.
end of the second
She's
season,
never
yeah,
bled from the eyes. She's made people bleed from the eyes, but not
Yeah.
right.
like this.
And I don't remember her killing people like this, where there was blood, like something exploded, like out of their head. I mean, she would just kind of snap her fingers and they would drop.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
No, I think no, it's that or make a glance or look at him, and like I don't know that she's made
Like
anybody's
they'd
head. She
stroke
broke a
out,
neck. She'd break it.
Yeah.
She broke the neck the one time, but
Yeah.
I don't. I think you're onto something here, and it would make sense because, it would change how Brenner deals with the kids too.
Mhm.
I would think
Yeah.
because he's changing. He just lost all his subjects except for 11. Well, let's take on a fatherly role and maybe nurture them
Yeah.
a little bit more or something. Because wow, look what happened with this one. But I like the twin angle. This could
Twin angle.
This is
Wow, I didn't-
this is Jake and she's
That's what I
Jane.
was thinking too, is that this is her boy twin or girl, twin or whatever they decide to do. God help us, it's Netflix.
Wow, my mind is blown hearing this.
I know.
I did not
I
think of it.
I am really sure this is not 11.
I would
there-
at this point, now that we've talked about it and looked at it like this, I would be disappointed if it is.
I would too. I honestly would too. And it wouldn't be the first time cool people like us came up with better story ideas than certainly Netflix. But I mean, okay, this is her again in season 1. The face is too narrow. The face is too narrow. The eye sockets are,
It just look so she's got a long narrow face. This is more of a squished face, and the eyes are, and the nose is different.
It's
and
more of a
the chin.
masculine face.
Well,
It's
the
more of a
chin,
boy's face. Yeah.
the chin line too there.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
she's a little washed out there because she's about to kill herself. Well, not kill herself, but you know what I mean. She's weakened, but that's not giving that effect off. I think you're onto something here.
So how did that end? Did that end with her escaping, or do we know what happened?
What, season 1?
In season 4.
That's not her.
Oh.
That is not her,
Or-
guys.
or
There is
did- I mean,
no
did-
way.
Or her or him, did they escape, or did they
We don't know. We don't know what
What is-
happened.
What is Zach saying? Zach's giving us grief. He's someone who's too busy to come and hang out with
you
us.
guys are
tonight.
putting way more work.
It's true.
Hey, it's
we
a
are.
mystery. It's an interesting mystery.
Dude, man,
I
come on.
actually care about this show. I do, and that's why I'm giving it this consideration.
Man, so I would have, think all the things that could open up too. Huh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where is he? Obviously not in Hawkins anymore.
Yeah, that's the question.
I think you're right. If it is, I'm disappointed in their CGI work and the deep fake, because the more and more I've looked at it now, you've definitely convinced me with the side by sides. I don't think
It's
that's
just
the
a
same
theory.
character.
I mean, I don't know if I'm right
I
or
like
not.
it.
I want to be right. I want it to
I
be
like it.
her brother, her twin brother,
Yeah.
which would explain a lot. Really.
So do you think Brenner is going to be like a major player? Or do you think he's going to be like offed really quickly?
I thought he was dead.
Well,
I
I
thought he was dead too, but apparently he's not.
Well, I think they're bringing him back in flashbacks. I don't think it's going to be because
that scene where he's in the house was
Which
Was
one?
the flashback?
Which?
I would assume it would have all been in 1979. So what?
My
3
guess
years
is
before season 1. You know?
running with
So because they never confirmed his death.
running
so
with.
we see that we see
Well, the Demogorgon ate him.
we see the Demogorgon tackle him, and then it cuts. Then it cuts away.
Yeah, but that would be some Walking Dead type crap, and that would piss me off. He needs. What I'm hoping is, I'm hoping Corey's right, and we get a bunch of flashbacks of
Yes.
Brenner with Jake, Jane, whatever, like with 13. If it's 13, you get a lot of flashbacks of all the failures that he had with him, and his turn into madness or whatever. And maybe he's the incarnation of evil that comes out of the Upside Down or something. I don't know, but that's what I'd like to see. Is if he's going to be a major role, it's his failures with him and the things he tries to do to correct it with 11.
Zach says, didn't they meet 11's mom? They did.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, Hopper met her in season 1.
Yep.
And then 11 went in season 2.
Yep.
And we learned that this was an MK Ultra experiment. They obviously gave her way too much LSD and fried her brain. And they
didn't even think 11 survived. So maybe a second baby. Why not? I can see
what
that.
I'm wondering with Brennan is much in the same way that Hopper we saw at the end of season 3 was in a gulag in the Soviet Union, presumably Siberia, that maybe they have part of Brennan alive in some type of stasis in some half-assed 80s cyborg technology way, and are using his vanity to control this project, even though he'd be working for the arch enemy of America, the Soviet Union.
You think they'd have him in Russia?
That's what I thought when they at the end of season 3 when they referred to the American. I thought they were talking about Brenner.
That's what I thought too.
So when I don't get why the social media and shows they reveal things like they revealed that Hopper was alive.
I took that as Hopper because they showed the prison door, so I thought that was a little note to drop.
I thought it was him for sure. I thought they showed him like working in the field or something outside or doing
that was later, I think. But I don't know why they should have left that ambiguous, and that even if they want to bring that out in episode 1, they shouldn't have. They
should have said two Americans. They should have said Amerikanskis so that there was a plural. So you're like, holy shit, how many Americans are in this gulag?
Are they collecting Americans? What the heck's going on? Right?
So, they did.
No, they did. Yeah.
So I forget, so that Russian machine that was opening, that's responsible for opening the door to the Upside Down, blows up.
Yeah.
And so apparently they overload it, and somehow it transfers Hopper to Russia, and he gets captured. And I don't.
My thought is maybe. Well, I could never put together how he survived, other than maybe he went through the gate.
That's what I think happened. I mean, let's be honest. That was some type of half-assed VIC-20 version of the Hadron particle collider. That's what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something we should keep playing with. But I think what happened is he ended up in that void, and then time passed, and then the Russians probably were trying to find a way to invade America by crossing through that plane to come out in the middle of the country. I mean, that's one of my theories, just from a tactical or strategic standpoint.
Or maybe they want to use those Demogorgons as like weapons, like soldiers or something, super soldiers.
Yeah. Boy, there's another country that's communist that wants to create chimeras to be super soldiers. What's the name of that country again? It'll come to me. But yeah. Funny how that works.
I couldn't believe when I first heard that the chimera research was real.
I love killing Steve. I killed Steve. I'm sorry. I killed Prophet of the Dragon. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I gave him the giggles. Sorry, guys.
Just give him the monkeypox, right? And just send him loose.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It'll be all right. Don't worry about it.
You got those camps where you can concentrate real hard on making the Demogorgon so they can. Yeah, whatever. Winnie the Pooh, bastard. Yeah.
So here's an interesting thing that they're doing with season 4. So season 4 is going to be split into 2 parts. There's volume 1 and there's volume 2.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they're not releasing all of it. What's weird is they're releasing the first 7 episodes like literally like tonight
Tomorrow.
or
Yeah.
midnight or
Midnight,
whatever.
yeah.
What time does Netflix drop their
Midnight.
episodes?
Usually
Somebody's
midnight.
Midnight.
Somebody's gonna have to share something with me so I can watch that because
I
I'm
got
not
you.
giving those bastards any money.
I got
So,
you.
yeah.
I got you.
All right,
I got
thanks,
it through
Steve.
like I
Thanks.
got it through like my phone. Just we'll talk after.
Okay, cool.
And then of course, and then July they're going to release volume 2, which is the last 2 episodes. So I'm
2
guessing the last
episodes?
2. Yeah, there's
Whoa.
so there's
That's
9
weird.
episodes. So the first 7 are coming out tomorrow, and then volume 2 comes out July 2nd or something, July 1st or July
Volume
2nd.
2 is 2 episodes.
Only
That
2
is
episodes.
very odd.
So I'm guessing
So-
episode 7 is going to end on a massive cliffhanger.
Are they saying that the years chronologically are the seasons follow the same years? So if season 1 was in 82, we'd be on 86
86
now.
Yeah.
God, I was a.
I
what was
read
I?
that
I
they're
was a
trying. They want to
sophomore.
end it before. They want to end it before Winona
kids get too
Ryder's
old.
career took off, which I think was in Beetlejuice '88, I think, or '87.
Oh,
So
yeah,
they don't want to deal with that aspect of pop culture with Winona Ryder being in the show herself.
Dude,
could be-
Heathers,
that could be fun.
Heathers. If you have not seen the movie Heathers,
I have
go
not.
see.
I-
No,
That could be
go
fun. They could,
see the movie Heathers with her and Christian Slater.
like that.
One of the
I see.
darkest, funny '80s movies ever.
They could play with that though. It'd be like Hopper just making joke. Like Hopper's obviously going to get back, but like somebody making jokes, being like, "Hey, why do you look like Winona Ryder so much? You could
Yeah.
be her mom." It's like,
Or
and
somebody
that's-
says
yeah.
Beetlejuice,
Yeah,
Beetlejuice,
so you
or
could have some
something
fun
like
with that
that,
one,
dude.
right?
That'd
I
be
mean, that'd be
awesome.
fun.
Seriously.
And she just turns around. She's like, "What?" It's like,
You know who they need to bring in? They need to bring Christian Slater into the show. They need to bring
Christian-
yeah.
everybody she worked with, like in the '80s, into the show because she worked
Christian
with a lot of
Slater's
great people.
Great.
Who else has she
Yeah.
worked with? I mean, she's worked with
Johnny
you know,
Depp,
Johnny Depp.
Good luck with
Christian
that one, though.
Slater. Oh God, what's his name? He was in 24. Shit.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland. I think she was in. Yeah. Well, I got to run through it all. But if you hit Beetlejuice and Cher, don't forget Cher. She was in some mermaid chick movie.
Mermaids.
Yeah, that one.
You got it.
So-
Mermaids.
You could just make Cher the Demigorgon. I mean,
Don't have no
Excuse me.
makeup at all, right? She doesn't have any ribs, you know.
And
Yeah.
then you make her the Demogorgon, then she'll smack you and say, "Snap out of it."
She'll
you
just
know,
scream
she'll talk about
and
Orange Man
Moon-
bad and
Moonstruck.
scream,
yeah.
and your head will explode. It'll be like, ah.
Moonstruck.
If I could turn back time. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Thank you. Yeah.
So what was I going to ask?
I don't even know, man. Where are we
Stranger
at?
Things. We were talking
Woo.
about Stranger Things season 4. You said that season 4 was going to start with 7 episodes dropping, and then part 2 was going to come out in July.
Sharon
That was,
Yes.
and,
Madonna's
then I
cameos.
derailed your show.
Sharon Madonna's cameos in it coming out is the villain.
Here,
Okay.
I'll share. That's
That's weird though. Why? It's like, so I guess there was no mid-season point where they felt that they could leave with a cliffhanger. They had to go all the way to 7 and then release the last 2.
There
find
has to
that
be a
the
reason.
massacre at Hawkins Lab. So that's going to be a flashback episode. That's
think
going to be
so?
13 or whatever. I think you nailed it, Corey. I think you nailed it. I think that's going to be.
Papa the piggyback. Unless they're going to try some time travel-y stuff.
Oof. Please don't.
I don't want them to. I don't
Time
want
Time
them to.
travel?
Please don't.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No more
Back to the
time.
Future?
No more time. I just give me some upside down. I just want some
I know.
that's the biggest problem I've had with season 2 and 3.
Mhm.
I wanted more upside down.
I do too.
That's that was the most interesting part of just the parallels between the two dimensions. Obviously, you always had your little floating debris aspect that you knew something was going on, and you were, the upside down was
shit.
encroaching. So
Okay. Now, is it my imagination, or does every season of Stranger Things kind of have this thing where they want to emulate a movie that was popular
Yeah.
in that year? Guess what movie came out in 1986?
Well, you got Top Gun. You had
19
Aliens.
Aliens. Yeah, that's
Ooh.
true.
Aliens came out. Platoon. Stand By Me. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Star Trek 4.
Top Gun. The Fly.
Oh, the
Ooh, The Fly.
Labyrinth. Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh,
Highlander.
Okay,
God
Fly.
damn.
Dude,
The
the
Fly.
Highlander.
Highlander, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay, time travel
Oh,
movie. Star Trek 4. The Voyage
Yes.
Home.
Man,
What
oh,
else
man,
do
oh,
we
man.
have? Dude, yeah. Pretty in Pink. Crocodile Dundee. Transformers. Yeah, there's a bunch of trash.
Transformers, the movie.
Short Circuit did
Short Circuit.
as well. Sid and Nancy. And
Did
that's
Cocoon come out in
kinda-
1986?
I want to say it was 85. I saw that in the
85.
theater.
Which
Yeah.
movie? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Cocoon.
Cocoon.
Oh, Cocoon. Yeah.
I'm gonna
I'm
look.
not sure. I watched that movie though. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I like Cocoon.
I was right. 85. Cocoon came out in 85.
Boom.
85. Okay.
Headshot.
Every time. One
I think
shot,
the-
one kill.
I think the villain in this season is based off of The Fly. Though it's like a human. You saw the trailer. It's like a humanoid dude. He's all covered in stuff. I don't know if he's
Check out
supposed to be-
check out Godzillionaire. He says that David Hopper's movie career didn't take off. Yeah, what was that crappy Marvel movie no one went to go see? It wasn't the Eternals.
He did
it was
Hellboy.
It was the other crappy Marvel movie. No, it wasn't. It was the
Hellboy.
one with. I know.
Black Widow?
I'm teasing.
Oh,
I know.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody
When-
remembers it, right?
oh,
Yeah,
man.
it's
Yeah.
all Ron Perl. Yeah, Hellboy. Ron Perlman's Hellboy. What are we talking about?
That's all you need.
Ron-
That's all you need.
Aliens 3 just had their 30th anniversary.
Wow,
I
that's
didn't know there was
crazy.
I didn't know there was an Aliens 3. I thought there was only two.
I thought there
Alien
was just two movies.
Yeah,
And
I thought so too.
Cam's Crash Course is quote one of the best quotes out of the movie Heathers. I love my dead gay son. Oh, you got to see that movie. To
I have not seen
appreciate
that
it.
movie, so
We
I
can
have
be
no idea the
friends. We
context.
can be friends. Cam's Crash Courses. That is so radically and wonderfully inappropriate. Well played. Well played. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. So I think at this point, I think everybody's like completely split up by this point. So at the end of season 3, like 11 loses her powers, and because of the fact that they believe Hopper is dead and everything, Joyce and the buyers, they move. So Joyce,
Yeah.
and Will, Jonathan, and 11, because 11 is now with them. She's now Joyce is now taking care of 11. They're going off. I forget where they go, to California or something, or they go somewhere. They go to California, so they're there, and of course everybody else is still in Hawkins. So I'm just curious. I'm curious about this one thing. Do you think they're going to make Will? They're going to make Will's character gay, but based on how he was in season 3 with he's like the no girls. First it was the no girls thing. He's getting very annoyed about that, and then they show in the trailer he's doing a research project on that one decoder, that one British decoder. I forget his name. They made a movie about
the Imagination Game guy.
Imagination Game.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah,
what
I
happened to
forget
him
his
was he
name. He'll be
ultimately
gay.
had his life ruined because of his orientation.
Yeah.
And he ended up committing suicide,
Yeah.
which is effed up. Like,
Oh, yeah.
why would there be a law, making that illegal? That's just effed up. I can't believe. I mean, that's one of the things that I personally am ashamed of hearing about in our in the world, in our world's history.
We didn't do it. There are countries that are still doing it.
Yeah.
And we can't talk about them.
No.
But those things, I'm not excusing them, but they happened before our parents were born, those laws, and they were changed, and they were changed before we were born. But like I said, what's happening right now, and where is it happening? I seem to remember we gave a whole bunch of crazy people a whole lot of modern military equipment that are doing things like that to people that
wrapped it up.
Anyway,
with a bow on
that's
it,
another one of those things we can't talk about. We have to pretend
Nope.
that didn't happen, right?
Nope.
Just like a whole lot of other things. Yeah.
I think you're dead on though. I think that's where they're going with Will.
Do you remember? It was 7. That was the other girl, the other gifted girl.
Callie. I think her name's Callie.
That's what I was going to ask, because there's this thing called the Nina Project, and I'm like, is that somebody going after a girl, or I didn't recognize that
Yeah,
as
I
the
don't know a
main
Nina.
character.
Hmm.
You know,
That's chapter 5. Okay, that's chapter 5. I have no idea.
It's going to be a good season, I hope.
Yeah,
I hope
then
so.
Dear Billy, so somehow Billy's
Well, that's
gonna come
what
back
do
into
do
the
you
picture.
well
Yeah.
is that do we think
gotta be
Billy's going to
Samantha.
be alive, or do you think in some state, or do you think he's just going to be something like
I
some
think
sort
it's
of
going to be
flashback thing?
it's Sam, right? That's his sister, the cute redheaded girl.
Max.
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 It was one of those cool
Max
names.
Yeah.
So it's got to be Max dealing with survivor's guilt. I mean, these kids have got to have some form of,
Well,
here's the thing. Maybe
disassociative stuff from the shit they've seen.
I don't know
Sorry,
what's
Dad.
going. You saw the trailer. What is going on with Max? Like
Well, that's why
she has like Akira level superpower.
apparently
She's going up in the air like Superman.
apparently
I
she's
don't
got
know.
powers. I'm curious whether, I mean, that's a sort of a misdirect. I'm wondering if it's Billy still affected by his relationship with the Mind Flayer manipulating her or
I
something.
think Billy's dead. Isn't
Well,
Yeah,
nobody's ever really dead. I mean,
it's
he
true.
was possessed. He was possessed by the Mind Flayer. Who knows what? Who knows, right? I mean,
That's a good
could-
call.
Yeah.
if
That's a
he's
good
in, the,
call.
if they buried him and he's really just dormant Mind Flayer, who knows what
Yeah.
he could do to him, right? So I don't know. I would think I'd be a little bit annoyed if Max all of a sudden up and has powers for whatever reason. But I hope that if that's the case, hopefully they explain it. I think Will having some sort of powers would make more sense, being as all the time he spent in the Upside Down, direct contact with the Mind Flayer, all that stuff.
Look at the recurring characters. We're seeing Paul Reiser returning, if that's correct. So they're going to they're probably going to give us more little retcon nuggets throughout this thing, or flashbacks. And maybe that'll be the whole point of what season 4 is essentially answering new questions, and we've got the Russians are back. We've got that whole thing.
I couldn't believe they killed that one. I forgot the Russian guy from last season who he turned on them because he likes Slurpees or something. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
That's how the critical drinker explained that part.
Yeah.
Jack and Hagar. He's in this. He's going to be playing a Russian in this show.
He looks Russian.
He does. Well, he's German, so he's pretty close. Robert Englund, who's he playing? Victor.
Oh Jesus! Who is he playing?
I don't know.
See, this is when I love what they do when they bring in these 80s icons, and that's what I was saying. I really hope they bring in somebody like Christian Slater. You guys, are they going to have another season after this, or is this it?
Yes. There's one more after
season 5 is the final season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, they're all adult. I think they're all adult age now. They're all 18 at least now.
Oh, because you got your eye on somebody? Got your eye on one of them? Okay.
Well, I'm trying to see here. It doesn't look like they have the dude. Billy doesn't look to be on the list.
No, I'm guessing if he comes back, it would be like a secret. It's like one of those secret things. You don't see the credit until the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I like Better Call Saul does.
He's going to be in it some fashion. I don't think that even if it's not the actor, but yeah.
So
thank you. This isn't my channel, and I would never do injury to somebody else's channel. I'll say things like this on my channel, but I'll still come right up to the edge. And it's not I'm the last person that believes in any type of censorship around these things. It's just that we're dealing with an artificial reality that's being run by big tech here, and we are in their playground, and I like to bring people good content. So I'll go right up to the edge, but I won't tell you. Why do I need to? Everybody knows what I'm talking about. We just can't say the words, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I got a question from the last season, from season 3. What did you guys prefer? Did you guys prefer the Russian storyline, or did you prefer the Mind Flayer?
I like the storyline. I liked
Which
it a
one?
lot. I liked the Russian story a lot. I did. I liked it a lot because I grew up, like I said, I grew up in that time,
Yeah.
and there were rumors of a lot of things. Like, a lot of the stuff we're still learning about parts of what went down in the 80s. There's still a lot of highly classified stuff they were doing, like, MK Ultra, a lot of other programs, a lot of weapon systems that maybe we're starting to use now that we already had in the 80s. We'll just say that. But it was really kind of cool to see the counter moves and moves. And I really hope they carry that forward, because the Soviet Union had some brilliant technicians and tacticians, but the Soviet Union always had the better scientists. They always did. And especially around propulsion and around the sciences. And it wasn't until the Cold War was over where you saw a lot of these physicists and biophysicists come to America and help really drive a lot of new technologies in biotechnology. Now, the reason why I say that is I was working in biotechnology at that time, and it just went through the roof. It was like a rocket because of those guys. Those Russian scientists are
The rockets. That's
geniuses,
Okay, that's interesting. I always thought they learned from like German scientists during
Well,
World War II.
it was
That's why
Project
we.
Paperclip. It was Project Paperclip. After World War II, even before the war was over, the Russians, the Soviets were grabbing every damn scientist they could,
Yeah,
because
and I think we
Russia
were
was still
too.
the
We
we
got
did.
Werner
We were
von Braun
racing.
and
We
yeah.
were racing. And Patton, actually, as soon as they took Berlin, I mean, you all know what Patton said. Like, we got everybody here. Let's wipe these Soviet bastards off the face of the
Yeah,
earth,
I
because we're going to
remember
fight them
seeing
again.
that.
We're going
Yeah,
to have to
I
fight them.
remember seeing the
And he was
movie.
right. So yeah.
Yeah, because we ended up the Cold War, everything just
Somebody made money off
turn.
it, though. Think about
Yeah.
that one. Somebody made money off that. The same banks that gave money to both sides.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can't talk about that either, can we?
I guess we can't. But I thought the Russian, like so which characters touched the Russian arc? So
Well,
it was
I mean, I like the Russian stuff, but I found I didn't like. I liked the Steve and the girl. I forget her name. The
Maya.
one. Maya, is that
Maya
Maya and Dustin
Maya
dynamic?
Robin Buckley is
It's
her
Robin.
name.
Robin, there
Yeah,
you go,
sorry.
Robin. Just the younger sister, she just annoyed the
Oh,
hell out of me.
Erica. I couldn't
Erica
stand
just
her
Yeah,
either.
that got old. That got old.
it was just too much. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, it's just like
Yeah, she
you're
was
over the top
insufferable.
annoying at this point. But
Mhm.
Robin and Steve were okay. I thought they played off each other pretty well.
Yeah.
Dustin was good. I
Yeah.
liked actually. I think the breakout. I mean, for me in that season was the guy that played Billy. I think he did
It was
really
so
really
good.
well.
He captured an archetype of 80s troubled teenage boy very,
I'm
very,
surprised, and
very,
I'm
very
surprised
well.
he has.
Very
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't showed up more elsewhere.
I know, like I mean, he plays the Red Ranger in
Yeah.
the live action Power Rangers movie
Yep.
that came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I know him in. I think his name's Dacre Montgomery. He's from
Yeah,
Australia, I believe.
and that was
great actor.
yeah,
Great
that
actor.
was that was before I think him and being in
Like,
Stranger Things,
it-
or
in-
around the same time.
In season 2, he was super duper imposing. Like he takes the barbell. It's like 120 pounds. He's just like curling up like it's nothing while smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, no,
So we're doing this.
he knocked it out of the park for
Yeah.
me, and it just he made that part a lot more interesting, just because he's, the tear, at the end, is tearing up and sacrificed himself for his sister,
Yeah.
even though they had their different. I mean, it's just I thought he nailed it. So
I agree. I liked his character.
the only part I really didn't jive with was I wasn't real the Jonathan Nancy stuff. Sort of, I could have. It wasn't really the greatest for me.
I think after season 1, I think both of them kind of I didn't really care for their arcs as much. Season 3 was their arc in season 3 was they're working for the newspaper, and the newspaper is extremely toxic, to like almost cartoonishly toxic. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, of course they all get killed. It was Gary Busey's son was like the lead toxic guy, and I was just like, really?
That would have happened maybe in the mid 70s, but at that point in the 80s, even if it was the middle of raccoon testicle rural America,
Yeah.
that probably wouldn't have happened like
Well,
that.
just
But
Nancy, she just again know it all. She's always
Well,
got to be right, and it's just like
intersectional feminism.
And it's
I
just
mean,
like
that's what we're started to see.
yeah. No, it's just like really, come on, you're just being annoying, and I don't need it. So
Yeah.
could have done
Nancy
without
Drew.
that part. The rest was good, fine.
Yeah,
Because I think that storyline followed up in season 2, where I think all they really did in season 2 was try to, because one character that wasn't resolved at season 1. I mean, well, we knew, the audience knew what happened, was Barb.
Yeah.
So like as far as her parents were going into season 2, and then season 2 is like a year later, 1984. Her family is still, her parents are still think she's missing, and they want to basically every time they try to tell them, they get stopped. They're either they're taking that, like I think they tried to call the mother. They have the mother meet like on a bench or something, and of course they're all listening. All the Hawkins people are listening in. Paul Reiser, they take him in and they record it, and they send the recording, I think, to like the newspaper, and I think that's how they get exposed. And then they end up working for that very newspaper, and that newspaper is toxic. So I didn't really care so much for there. And we meet Murray Bauman, I think he's the investigative reporter.
I like him.
I like him.
He's pretty funny.
I like his character a lot.
He gelled, to me. He gelled better with
the
Joyce
Russian.
And the Russian and Joyce and Hopper.
Yeah, the relationship, especially, it's just funny. Just his his relationship. He's so anti-Russian, and then just he immediately bonds with this Russian scientist, and they're at the fair doing their thing. It's just like I found the whole thing funny. I liked it.
All because of Slurpees or whatever, whatever it was that he drank. That's just like, oh, I love being an American because of this, because of a Slurpee. Okay, here, have some more. We'll give you all you want. But it hurt when he died. The Terminator. You have this Terminator assassin, Russian assassin dude who's going after them. He's like tracking them down every which way they're going. He kind of reminded me of Robert Patrick's T-1000 a little bit.
A little bit,
but a little bit more jacked. So I thought that was that was a nice. He was a nice little villain for Hopper. So you had him. Then he had the. I think he was like the main villain of the Russians, because I don't think we didn't really meet any of the big scientists. Like there was the guy that was interrogating Steve and them, and of course, so Steve and Steve and Robin are tied together. And of course, Steve is being the one getting beat up and hit, and Robin's just making snarky remarks. Robin's just making snarky remarks, and nothing's happening here because I guess the Russians are gentlemen. They won't smack a female hostage or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's
something Critical Drinker. That's something Drinker put.
They would. Yeah.
I was like, I saw that. But it's funny is I saw that too. I was like, no, that wouldn't be realistic. So but then again, I thought of it. Maybe they're just thinking of it from an '80s movie, like a PG or PG-13 '80s movie.
Yeah. They probably tear her apart to get him to talk.
Life? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So. While you guys have been talking, I have been listening, but I keep going back and forth between 11 from season 1. Child.
So is it?
I don't see it. The nose is wrong. The nose is entirely wrong. The chin is wrong.
So it's not poor CGI.
The only thing I see is the shape of the ears is kind of the same. Also, the hairline is wrong. It has a boy's hairline. Sorry, I'm not a biologist, but I know what a boy is, and it definitely has a boy's hairline. But
I think the fact, and I hope you're right, because I think the fact that they put that much work into finding somebody that looked that close to Millie Bobby Brown to make it that questionable.
I think they CG'd the ears too. Just looking at some of the stuff in the background, I think that's a different character, and I think they deliberately tried to have the ears look like 11's. They don't look natural though. So
I think no. As soon as you pointed it out, I didn't think it at first, but as soon as you pointed it out, I'm like, I hope you're right. I hope you're right because I think you're right. I hope you're right
too. Yeah, I'm like Sherlock Holmes only not dead. So, yeah,
Elementary, my dear Salty.
yeah, man. Yeah.
So we got about 10 minutes left. So I was just any final thoughts before we wrap
Yeah.
this up? Any final
I want to hear
thoughts about-
Steve. I want to hear Steve's final thoughts on this, man. I want to hear
My
Steve's
final thoughts?
take on- Yeah, what's your tell me what you think about season? Where's season 4 going to go?
Where's
Yeah, where's
season
it gonna
4
go?
gonna go?
Tell
Shoot,
us.
I think it's gonna be. I think. Let's see. I haven't thought about that too much, other than I think they're gonna lose. I think it's gonna be. I think the Upside Down
Empire.
is gonna be. I
Empire
think.
Strikes Back.
Yeah,
Empire Strikes Back,
I think that this is going to be the Empire Strikes Back season. I think that finally, I guess what's his name? The villain is Vecna. Is that what it is?
Vecna's curse.
He's
I
gonna
guess so.
gonna grab somebody, whether it's 11 or Max or somebody, and pull him into the Upside Down. And I'm hoping season 5 we're in the Upside Down, maybe counterattack or recovery mission again, with all the characters going in there and wreaking some havoc in the next season. But I'm hoping to see more Upside Down. I don't think we're gonna just from the titles.
Do you think more nations will open the Upside Down to the point where the Upside Down is going to encompass the entire Earth?
Well,
I could see the season ending.
I mean, the whole point of season 3 was they couldn't get the portal opened in Russia. It had to be in Hawkins. So I think for whatever reason, that point in time and space is now special for the Upside Down. That dimensional rift, is, if you would, is open there. Or
unless,
maybe,
unless, how the hell did they get Hopper? Because Hopper ended up in the Soviet Union somehow, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but what if the explosion with Hopper tore a hole in the time-space continuum on the other side of wherever that was, and then now they can have access to it because
or maybe they were linking another portal from there simultaneously or something, because they weakened the gate. Who knows? I hope they just explain it. I want to see an explanation that it doesn't have to be perfect. Just give me. Don't just Hopper's there. No, tell me how he got there, please. Just give me an idea. Even if even if I see a broken machine, it's like, okay, at least I can infer something from that.
I want them to take from Aliens. I want them to take from that they're trapped and they're being surrounded, and like I want that whole Aliens vibe. Like the only thing you could do is nuke it from space. That's where I want them to go with. If they're going to play this game of part 1 and part 2, draw your inspiration from Aliens, because that would be
the only
genius.
way to be sure.
It's the only way to be sure.
Joyce and Murray fly to get Hopper. Here's a fun quote. They should make Will be the real villain all along.
How crazy would that
payoff?
I think that would be awesome. That'd be fantastic.
And that would and maybe if not make Will gay, and the reason why all he wants to do is play Dungeons and Dragons is because he is that. That's a really good idea.
He is the dungeon master. Yeah, he is the pulling all the strings.
Maybe the real Will got eaten and replaced in season 1. We don't know.
See, and he's been there this whole time.
Well, look, if you think about it, I mean, all the problems that happened from season 1 to season 2 stem from Will.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, well, maybe not season. Well, yeah, I guess the dark creature came from Will's tummy.
He was modified to be able to house the mind flayer. So
yeah,
I'm wondering.
Look at Zax. Sorry, look at Zax.
So Max and 11 are going to hook up, and the power of their passion destroys the Upside Down.
Yeah, fucking scissoring. Scissoring's gonna do scissoring.
They're gonna shoot rainbows at it together.
Yeah,
going together.
It's Netflix. It's Netflix.
It's not just rainbows; it's also sunshine.
Rainbows and sunshine. They're farting. Yeah. It's coming out of their farting rainbows and sunshines. Yeah,
farting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want it to be dark. It needs to be dark, and
it's going to be dark because
ominous.
they're all teenagers now. So it's going to be there's going to be more emphasis on horror this time.
And there needs to be a major death. I hope there's a major death.
I was going to ask if you guys heard spoilers.
I haven't heard a spoiler, but I hope there's a major death. Not to I hope it's not Mike or 11, but
Well, it won't be Lucas. It won't be Lucas. Come on, man.
and
All
not
right,
gonna
if it's
be-
Dustin, I'm gonna riot.
That's who I think it's going to be. I think it's
I
going to
think
be
it's going to be
Dustin.
Dustin. Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is he just accepted some big role on Broadway, and then I didn't know this cat could sing, so maybe this guy wants to get some escape velocity from this childhood role to go be on Broadway.
Well, I mean, he was belting out the never-ending story, man. I mean,
True. Yeah.
you know,
Hey,
so
Great movie. Great movie.
season
Dustin's the only one that does not have any connection to the world through another person.
That is true.
Except for his imagine. Well, not his
mom.
his long distance. Well, his mom's probably going to be crazy because
Oh yeah, the
can't
hot
find the cat.
girlfriend.
The hot girlfriend. Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe that, but I don't know. I think if anybody's going to die, it's probably going to be Dustin.
It'll be a hero's
no.
death too. It'll be
I
a
hope.
hero's death.
I hope so.
If he goes out, I hope he goes out swinging. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't have him go out by like a bitch. Have him go out making a difference.
But I don't necessarily like a lot of death of main characters. Personally, Wheel of Time and all that. Most of the people live for the most part.
Or Better Call Saul.
Or well, well, I guess you got me there.
What language are you speaking?
I guess you got me there, man. Sorry, but I think it's gonna happen. So I'm sort of prepping myself for that.
I hope not. I'm gonna riot if Dustin. Because he's my favorite. He's my favorite.
He's my favorite. Mine too.
He's my favorite. Well, the kids. I mean, I like him. I like Hopper. Hopper's basically indie. Yeah. I mean, he's indie basically.
Well, the reason I say that is I hope that because they brought in Bob to kill him in that one in season 2, pretty much. I mean, he wasn't Fridge, but I mean, he was there and basically to be killed. They did a good job of making us care about Bob, though. So good on him. Bob the Brain. So we haven't really lost a main cast member yet. So.
Not yet, so
at least
that could
guy.
happen.
Good guy, yeah.
Because I thought season 3. Because when I first saw season 3, I thought Hopper was dead initially.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I thought he was too, and then
I think he thought he was too because he had a movie career.
Yeah, I was gonna say then Hellboy made like $2 at the box office, and
it's not like Black Widow. Crushed any box office records either.
I totally forgot he was even in that.
My point exactly.
And he played a Russian too.
Yeah, he did. Russian. Maybe he defects.
Maybe. No. Godzillionaire says, back to my theory. Will betrays Dustin, and that's how they reveal he's the bad guy.
Oh. There you go. I like that idea though. It'd be heartbreaking, but I like this whole double agent Will, or I guess it'd be double agent. I don't know. Bad Will, evil Will.
Daryl the Derelict says, Keith from the video store will conquer the upside down with his stink face. Is he the guy that was in season 2? He was running the arcade, and in season 3 he runs the video store.
Awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. Even my son's like, hey, I know that guy. That guy's got the most unique face ever.
That's awesome. Dude, man. I like this betrayal component. I do. I think Godzillionaire's onto something because it could be like this whole Han Solo, Lando Calrissian exchange, where I didn't have a choice, and like Will has been compromised because he thinks he's trying to protect people that he cares about.
Well,
and instead he's in too deep.
Well, the best part would just be like the end. It's just like you don't know anything till the end, and something at the last episode reveals that Will's sort of pulling the strings on all this stuff, and then you go into season 5 knowing who your bad guy is. Us knowing, but maybe not them knowing. That would be awesome too.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this, especially since I'm not going to give anybody any money. I'm just going to say that.
There you go.
Got you covered.
So for me, I think honestly, I have no idea where this show's going. It looks like they're gonna adapt more 80s. They're gonna adapt more 80s nostalgia. The fact that Robert Englund's in this, it just makes this season worth it alone.
I know.
I mean, he's not. I don't think he's gonna be wearing. I don't think he's gonna be wearing any heavy makeup. He's just gonna be playing. I just hope he just plays like a mad scientist, like something out of the Mangler or some.
It looks like his family's in it because there's a Levy Creole. There too. I'm trying to scroll up on your screen here. That's funny. Virginia Creole, you got Alice Creole, and then he is Victor Creole, and then you have a flashback with a younger Victor Creel. So I'm assuming I maybe he's a Russian scientist.
Not with Creel. Not with Creel.
Creel, yeah.
Creel. I don't know what kind of name is. I don't know what kind of name Creel is. Just
I thought it said Creed
evil.
at first. I was gonna be like, what the hell?
I'd say Irish.
I thought
I'd
it'd say Creed
Irish.
too.
Where's Apollo at?
Yeah. Well, Apollo is working on the Mandalorian.
There you go.
So yeah, but I can't wait. I have to watch seasons 2 and 3 now, and then I'm gonna hop into season 4. So
right on.
So I think in a few weeks, I was thinking of doing another stream talking about the first. The first volume and our thoughts and what to expect from volume 2, which comes out in July. So yeah, I love the attention to detail that Stranger Things has done.
Yeah,
the first season was just impeccable, almost completely impeccable. I watched it in a single sitting.
Yeah, I did too.
It's hard not to. It's hard not to.
Well, that's why I'm afraid to throw it on at midnight because I may be up till 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. Yeah.
So, I think it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be great, and I hope that it hits the landing. I hope I do too. I hope it ends on an exciting cliffhanger, so that when volume 2 comes out with only 2 episodes, I hope the 2 episodes are long. Like they're not just 50 minutes. They're like
well, it's the Duffer Brothers too. Look at this though. I mean, that's what's so crazy is the Duffer Brothers are directing the cliffhanger as well as the final 2 episodes. So
I think that's a good sign. Very good.
That's fascinating. I really wonder what movie they're going to take from. I really, really do.
Yeah, they're starting it off and starting her off and bringing her home. So
yeah. I'm gonna have to do some research and look into 80s films that came out in 86.
I got a list up. Like I said, I ran through them. I mean, like I said, Star Trek 4, time travel. We got Aliens. Like I that would be my top choices for this that they're going to riff off of.
Yeah, it's interesting because they wrote. I mean, it's nice. They've written and directed the lion's share of the work. So it's like they gave that. It's like, okay, you guys can fill in the season. We're going to start it. We're going to end it. It's our story. So I think that's a good sign.
All I can say is imagine how good this show would be if only it had been written by Payne and McKay. The guys who are doing Lord of the Rings,
another level, right? I mean, just elevated. They're such good people, those guys. By the way, did you know they're awesome guys? I've heard this.
Yeah, it totally made me forget that they called me a racist. Yeah, because I didn't like
too.
The crap.
Yeah. I heard from all these people that went and got paid tickets to and gift bags that they're awesome guys.
Yeah, I mean they know some things, right? They know things.
They know things.
Here's the thing. They they learned from J.J. Abrams. I mean,
they learned all the things.
I was thinking about this today.
All the things they learned. Okay,
I derailed this.
J.J. Abrams managed to get Leonard Nimoy aboard for Star Trek 09.
That's true.
So I mean that takes a good deal. I mean, Nimoy's not someone that's easy. Rest in peace, Leonard. But he's not someone that was easy to convince to come back to play Spock.
Well, he wouldn't come back for the Generations movie, right?
No.
You know what? You know what this is? This is my magical bullshit box. You know where I got it from? J.J. Abrams.
Oh.
You know what's in the box?
Nothing.
Payne and McKay.
Nothing. But it's a box.
It's a mystery.
That's
box.
What you're gonna get.
The mystery box could be anything.
It's a mystery box. What could be? It could be anything.
It could be anything. It could be a boat. You know how
Lost was the biggest con ever. I
would agree.
It's funny you said con. It's funny that you said con because look at Into Darkness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, I totally derailed your stream.
No, it's fine. I'm wrapping it up right now. So
good.
I can't wait to see it. I think this is.
Me too.
I think this is. I hope it sticks to landing. I feel like TV is kind of coming back, at least for me, because of Better Call Saul. And
a little bit.
I mean, hopefully with this and the Orville next week.
Andor's coming out too. Oh, sorry.
And
yay.
And exactly. And War. What?
And War.
And
Kenobi. Kenobi comes out.
That's tomorrow too. Yeah. I gotta watch that garbage fire. Heck yeah.
Wow. I'm not watching that crap. It's not Star Wars. Look at Zach's. He says it turns out this is his prediction for season 4. Says it turns out Will Byers has a sister named Jill Byers, who's slightly better than him at everything. Season 5 will feature her original story. I wouldn't put it past Netflix. If
Maybe
that's what they do.
Will likes to pretend to be Jill in drag.
Oh,
It's the
don't
same
even
person.
don't.
Oh,
Don't
no.
break my heart with this crap,
Multiple
dude. Don't break my heart.
personality Will.
Don't do
The
it.
evil Will is Jill. There you go.
People harsh on me a lot for hating on things, and I don't hate things. I just call them like I see them. This show has my benefit of the doubt, and
I'm there with you.
I want it to be good, just like I want the Rings of Power to be good. I would love if Kenobi would be good, or Andor is going to be good.
God, I
Spoiler
want Kenobi
alert!
to be good.
Spoiler alert! They're not gonna be. And but in the meantime, I would really like if this show was good. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel the same.
I'm with you. They 3 seasons of pretty good story. Well, good storytelling for me. I enjoyed all of them. So
Yeah, same here.
when you get to season 3 and I'm still there, you get some faith from me. So
Yeah,
man, I
You mean
agree.
season 4?
well, I mean, season 4
Last
is not
season.
officially out yet. I mean, 3
Yeah.
seasons
Last
that I've
season.
enjoyed.
Oh,
last
okay,
season, yeah.
okay.
So
I was like-
they're getting like sort of pretty much what Salty said. Benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give you guys a fair shake here, obviously,
Yeah.
because
You
I enjoyed
have
the
my
first.
faith.
Yep.
You have my faith.
Yes.
Mhm. Same
Agreed.
here. So other than that, looks like wow, it's already past 90 minutes. Wow, this stream went by really quick. So
Yeah.
other
It's
than
fun to talk about things that aren't you just doom and gloom, isn't it? It's fun to have a little bit of hope, but not blind hope, right? Just like, you know what? These are talented people. They had an imperfect couple of seasons, but you know, they still have my faith. I still think it's going to be an entertaining show.
I agree.
I really hope they deliver for season 4 because I really need a good show.
Mhm.
Like I really, really need a good show.
Yeah, it's just you have to know where to look for these things. I would not give too much credence to big franchises because a lot of the franchises that people love have been derailed because of incompetency, in my opinion.
Well,
So,
negligence,
especially Star
yeah.
Trek, negligence,
Willful.
not
It's
caring
willful.
about what came before, which
Yeah.
is a problem for me. I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to
Well,
Trek.
it's hard, but it's hard. It's hard to write a good story. Why are you being so patriarchal? Why, well, don't you understand? Like, it's about equity. It doesn't matter if you have talent. It's how you look externally and who you sleep with. That's the only reason you should get a job, Nerdporio. Come on. What are you talking about?
I'll keep that in mind.
Jesus. Yeah.
All right, but all right.
But they're good guys. They're good guys.
If they're good,
Are you a
guys,
biologist?
they're good
Are
guys.
you a biologist?
Yeah. I honeymoon is one.
Oh, well, that explains a lot, actually. Okay.
Trust the science. Trust the science. All right. But other than that, thanks everybody for showing up. This was a great stream.
This is fun.
Thank you, Corey. Yep. Thank you, Steve. And of course, everyone in the chat. Since there's a handful of people, I can name everybody: Sci-Fi Nation, Zax, Daryl the Derelict, Godzillionaire, NES Addict. Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
NES Addict's a great channel. He does a lot of video game retrospectives. Talks a lot about NES. So yeah, he's a great channel. Cam's Crash Courses, Input Latency, and Isai. I think it's Isai Melody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. And Ghost.
Good crew. Good
course,
crew. Good crew.
Yeah, my friend in real life, Brian Anderson, and yep, that's everybody.
Right
Jake D is telling everyone to subscribe and hit the like button.
Hell yeah!
Yes. So if you made it this far, do me a favor, hit the like button and smash that red subscribe button. And if you like this type of content, I make videos and I do streams. So and I play games too. So other than that, everybody have a great evening, and let's keep our fingers crossed for Stranger Things season 4, volume 1.
Please.
Yeah.